All right, everybody, let's get to it on a Tuesday. What's happening? Big shout out. What's happening, chat? Great to see everybody back again. We're here Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, 12 noon Eastern. I might change that. I don't know, maybe in January that might change a little bit. Thinking about some things. But anyway, great to see everybody in there. Scotty, Folger, Tails, Stephanie, David, Daniel, Bob, Kenneth, everybody, Victoria, what's going on? What's up, Costa Mooney? Great charts. I appreciate you tagging me. If you guys have any charts you want to put on Twitter, that's really seems to be the place to be. I'll look at them. So do that. Uh, let's talk crypto first. A lot going on. I made some comments I think resonated with a lot of people yesterday about just seeing all this craziness as a potential start to, getting into a deeper phase here where you want those kind of stories. You want the craziness. And then we want the flush. Wanted to bring up Ethereum. And let's just go through the top five because Ethereum's still, in my opinion, still number one. And it's still, take a look here. This Gartley. Come on up, Gartley. Where'd you go? What happened to the Gartley? Because some of the pairs are, there you go. This is the Gartley. This is the Gartley. It's on Bitstamp. I know it's a little confusing because some of the other exchanges are looking at a bat pattern. I want to stay consistent because we've been calling this a Gartley for a long time. And if it is a Gartley, well, it is a type 2 Gartley back in the zone and trying to stabilize. It's something that I've been a little dismissive on. This HSI check back at a 1080. And it looks like it's trying to stabilize. I mean, we've seen Bitcoin do this and go sideways, but this kind of action where you're getting squeezed on Ethereum, is there anything here? Is there any possibility for a type 2? Normally, we'd say, yeah, jump on it. And that's typically the kind of thing we're looking for. I would prefer to wait for some kind of real clear 3-bar breakout with continuation if you're going to play it. Like if we get above 1225, then you could shoot the gap for a minimum move up to 14. But these are all trades, folks. Definitely you're still in reaction phase, even at type 2 retests here. So I really do think this spells out the levels quite clearly. If you're looking for an opportunity in crypto, this could be one that bumps a little bit. Of course, nobody likes the fundamentals. Nobody likes to, try to hold their nose at this anymore, quite frankly. But you have all of the makings, and this is where taking everything on an individual basis, dismiss all the news and the crazy nerd soap operas. We're in a type 2. There's no, and we're stabilizing. So let's just take it one by one. I'll monitor that closely. Above 1225, you could see something. Now, number 2 on the list, Binance Coin. Just still, not only did it come off that ABCD, and we talked about this yesterday, a couple of the things that are there. Listen, we have a daily, on Binance Coin, actually, it's probably setting up for one of the better opportunities for some kind of check back, bearish check back, where you get confirmation and then this starts. This, again, the levels here are the bat pattern from earlier. And this is all manipulation. I mean, you count it. It traded up there, but that's just, we know the games that they've been playing. For us, we got to respect these daily signals, these daily HSI candles. Every time they've been popping, they lead to further downside. And that may be something to think for crypto people, that if we're looking for a flush continuation, you're looking for the capitulation, well, this might be a start. And for BNB, look, I expect maybe that checks back to about 310, 309 and change. And then that would seal the deal. But you're 1-2 days away from there. So if we're looking for crypto to roll over, it still maybe has a pop here. Maybe has a little bit of a pop. I don't know. I'm looking, just going off of these HSI signals and knowing that we have patterns up here. And again, the pattern resistance zone on BNB is more of this bat continuation between 300 and 330, and that's it. And this signal there should get you back down, I think, to target 2 at 228. So if you're looking for that crypto collapse, this might be the first sign in BNB. And BNB is going to have to come down. It's holding up way too high for, what we see here on the weekly and everything that has happened. I would even venture to say that ideally you'd want to see BNB come back and recheck at 206. That's why I don't like it. You're not in the right position for crypto just yet. Although, I do think a lot of people want to be contrarians. And I don't, I get your crypto feel. I get your thoughts on crypto and how it's supposed to change things, but obviously it didn't. So I still want to, no matter what's going to happen with it, I still want to go on price. I want to go on signals. And what this says to me, this BNB situation, think of it this way. We know HSI is a critical early signal, and we look for the check back rejection, which on the weekly is about 306. And notice how that weekly signal on BNB really is having a tough time surmounting it. Not to mention we had a check back and we had 2 bearish bars. So we're right there. Everything you want to see. I think that's just a lot of noise. I'm more concerned with going back down from there to there than I am to go up or missing out on anything up. Please take that to heart if you're a crypto fanatic or crypto is your game. What we do here with the harmonic patterns is define the levels. And that's every trader, crypto, futures, stocks, whatever, options, you have to define your levels. So BNB setting up pretty nicely. The other thought that I had where it was, just take a look even at big retracements on BNB all time. Take a look at this. What's that? There's a 382. That wicked up to 382 and then back down. That's why, look, we're stacking a lot of measurements, a lot of signals, and they still need to point down and come back down before we would consider any kind of bullish scenario. So be aware of that. A couple questions. Great chat. Thanks, chat. You guys look great. I'll answer a few of those. Hit the like and subscribe here to get our notifications and when I go live. Arun is asking, do we use the harmonic crypto screener or do we just go to charts? I do. I use it. The crypto screener is available on this platform for TradingView. And the best way to do it is just add it through your indicators. There, invite only. And it's a harmonic patterns watch list. You click on that and that pops up the indicator window. And then you edit it. It's in there. I use it. The question is, what time frame are you going to use it? And that's, for me, I think for crypto, the hourly, the 4-hour time frame, I think are real solid, especially for the bigger patterns. A couple other questions. Daniel, do we have a Discord? Absolutely. So the fact that Daniel's asking me that tells me I need to again, just remind everybody, everything starts at harmonictrader.com. Become a basic member, and then your Discord group is free. Okay, it's down here, number 4. So click there, become a basic member, join the Discord. We got the group in there, and I'm in there more. And we just opened up the gold members page on that too. So the gold member section. So we're trying to beef that out. And then again, the other beautiful addition, thank you moderators, this amazing harmonic pattern cheat sheet. Look at this. Everything you want. All right, it's a real nice job, guys. I really, the type 1 there, type 2, the guys are even talking about putting stuff together. I got your message, by the way, and I'll follow up on doing like an advanced sheet, but that's beautiful. But get everything at the basic members page, and for those that are signed up or signing up or resubscribing, the seminar, okay, that comes along with it, all the gold members, everybody that's bought HPC before in the last few months, yeah, you guys can go. If you want to attend and you're not sure, simply contact Miss Stephanie on the Discord. She'll hook you up. That's December 10. What's that, a week from Saturday? That's a week from Saturday, kids. So the Black Friday, Cyber Monday special is up to in 2 days to qualify. So get with that. Scotty Joe, what's happening? Mitch Ray, the legend himself, is in the house. What's up, Mitch? I got your note. Great stuff. Mitch and I communicate on the Discord. And yeah, we'll get to the Doge, Mitch. That's right. Mitch has been on the Doge. And that's Doge's number 4 on our list. Let's go to number 3. Let's dial it back. Let's keep it moving. But you guys know, harmonictrader.com. That's where it all starts. Get it free. Here's the Bitcoin thing. Weekly time frame, folks. I sketched this pattern out. Listen, if the last 6 months, 5 months since June is anything, and we're going to connect dots, if we know anything about harmonic patterns, we're looking for the M and W shapes. This is undeniably a deep crab pattern that typically goes to that 1902 number, not 190. What is it? Beverly Hills 10920. No, it's the 1.902 number. And this a couple of real nice harmonic levels that I think are interesting to point out. That says we're in this CD leg. Not to mention we have the 1902 that should take us to 11. But your BC move is a 314. Okay? That BC with the 1902, all of that pointing 11.3, but minimum 12. You're just waiting for that breakdown. And we did have it. I mentioned this yesterday. Listen, we had a 3-bar breakdown on the daily. Yesterday, it officially closed under, check this out. There you go. 1, 2, 3. Yesterday, we closed under that. Pretty much anything under 16,400 seals the deal. I would think that is 16.4. Now resistance. As Mitch would say, it's a real nice back test of prior support, now resistance. And so you take out yesterday's low, that's all you need. And we get moving. And the clock's ticking, folks. Why is the clock ticking? Because all of the losers that you want to get rid of and harvest now is going to have to be done really soon. If you're going to want to harvest your losers, does anybody have any crypto gains after this year? Don't think so. Not if you're holding. Maybe if you were shorting. But here's your window. Okay, tomorrow, again, last day of the month. And then you go into your tax loss selling for 30 days. How about 30 days? Yeah, 30. And so I would expect it to wash out. There's, basically 30-day sessions into the end of December where we begin to just do the slide. Continue the daily march lower, lower highs. And when you're in a downtrend, I personally feel that lower highs are more demonstrative than lower lows. Of course, you want both to be a clear, aggressive downtrend, but lower highs, and that's the pattern here, the individual price bar pattern. If we were in an uptrend, other people would argue differently, but I would absolutely say that if you're an uptrend, higher lows are more important. So that is the clear pattern with Bitcoin and has been for November since the big crash down through the hop level, failed everything. And this is just a matter of time. That's number 3. Number 4, good old Doji for that speculative flavor of what could possibly be happening here in crypto space. 4-hour pattern is what we've been looking for. Looks like this. Check it out. Pretty interesting. Bat pattern. Delayed reaction. Did we get to 1090? No. Would have loved to seen 1090 off of that bat pattern. But we do have a deep crab. And it's registering. Now, the only thing that's why is it delayed, and let's blow up this deep crab pattern, is this 10 cent level on Doge going to be it? Where's HSI? Hasn't really registered. Let me remove the screener. No HSI up here, but you do have amplified divergence. I would expect this 10 to 11 cent range to be, this thing start to stall out, but it can pause here. Certainly pause. The fact that you had 1 and 2 HSI signals tells you this has still got some time on the upside. I'm thinking it's more about the big bat pattern. And I'll wait for that. We're looking for this 1090 level and then an HSI signal up. So it's more like up in here. Been a nice delayed bat reaction so far. And why not? Why not do something like this? Why not for Doge come on up a little bit, poke above 11 cents, something like that, and then come back down for the type 2 to really set it off and then go. A lot of that sets up over the next 30 days, I think. Is that a double top? Martin is asking. For now, it's at the hop level off the crab. If you're going to get any kind of a pullback, I think, Doge is relatively tame in this range. And maybe at worst, you go back to 8.6 cents on this move or 8 cent range. That's clearly support 11 on the top side. These will continue to be reactions. They will, that's one of the most constructive reversals, reactions off of a bullish pattern we've seen. Typically, they've been duds. So far, so good. Number 5 still remains Cosmos. And we're waiting for 8. We're waiting for 8. Oh, look what's going on in the 4-hour chart. Couple of HSI signals on the downside. And the daily, there you go. The daily's still the bat pattern. We've had a couple of formations. Hop as low as 7.3. I think it's 8. It's somewhere in this. It's clearly under this XA level. And then we don't have HSI yet. So, that's beautiful back-to-back, but not quite there yet. Let me feature 1 or 2 that people have been pestering me about so I can get to you guys and answer your questions. A lot of chatter about Link. People love this crypto. They've always, I had to learn crypto really starting in 2018, 2019 because I didn't understand it. And I want to see what it was all about. And everyone's like, well, Chainlink, that's the next, that's your crypto banking infrastructure. Well, all we have here is just a repeat of bearish pattern after bearish pattern. So I'm not really a fan of Link. Go to the weekly, and no progress off of this weekly signal. And if anything, Link is showing us yet another example of a harmonic dud. If you're bullish, look, you check back, you form a couple bullish bars, and then you do a little pop, but then you form a bearish candle. When you see that, okay, you think more time, you think sideways to down. So I'm not there yet. Again, I people will cite things to me about, well, adoption or partnerships or whatever. I want price levels. I want confirmation. I want beautiful patterns to tell me when the collective buying and selling naturally ends. That's not here yet. And then what was there's another one. Was it storage or was it algo? Someone asked me about storage recently because we're down here retesting this weekly HSI. Might have been algo. Algo? Let me see that. I don't think it's storage. It might be algo. And I don't know the difference of these. I know some are money, privacy money, others are infrastructure, but folks, there's just nothing there. I wonder what people are thinking about when they or what they hear that would ask them. If just looking at a chart, I mean, we could take the patterns off, we could take everything off, and still say, what does that price action say to you? It's tough. Haven't looked at Solana. I will. Yes, there's a pattern there on the daily, but what would you do with that? Here's the daily. Look at that. Beautiful crab pattern. But this is another one. Look what happened on Solana. And I'm not touching this. Why? Why wouldn't I touch that? Because we have a bearish HSI that triggered yesterday, folks. In the bullish zone. What do we know about those counter HSI signals? They have to go back and retest. So I know I've seen the arguments. People saying it's manipulated, it's oversold, it's not worth anything. I'm going to say this. Solana is 1331 now. Clearly, with that signal yesterday, here's the zone. There's your zone. Okay, it's going to force you back down into retest minimum XA level because you couldn't even get out of the zone. So that's 1206. So it's going to be the greater of the 1206 or the next HSI. And so where's HSI? Just coming out of the zone right now. That's why I know it's not an opportunity. I mean, it's, again, that's where the contrarian thinking, not bad. I mean, it's give people credit for trying to be contrarians in this insane market, but our signals are not there. And Solana, like I said, I would expect that back to 12 quite soon, especially after yesterday. What was the other one? You guys had one or two more. XRM? Or do you mean XMR? I think you mean XMR. You've got dyslexia like me. Monero, right? Monero. Beautiful look. Daily. Bat pattern generated. Was that the same one across the board? Let's see. An ABCD. I can't stand. That's something for me that it's a real bugger that these data feeds are not the same. But regardless, for Monero, yeah, you had a nice reaction off that Gartley, but you're done the type 1 now. There you go. Type 1 reaction hitting at 138.27. That should be it. That should be it. Did you get a 3-bar breakdown at there? Here you go. 1, 2, 3. You know, you didn't close underneath there. You really need to close under 133, and then this shoots the gap back down. But that's the clear sign that reaction is over. Look, nice move, nice pattern. Right up to the target. It's over. It's done. It's, and again, we want the retests. You want the confirmed support level with a secondary retest after you hit the target. That's an important point as well. I'm going to go through some stocks that are doing the same thing. A whole bunch of these stocks are, a lot of these stocks are rolling over at target ones on the daily. A lot of tech. So be mindful of that. I suspect with the way things are shaping up, you're going to get into a tax loss selling over the next couple of weeks. And just fundamentally, that should take you down to the levels you're looking for. Last one, someone wanted Litecoin, and I haven't looked at that forever. Oh, interesting. Sell it. Done. See ya. Gartley, type 2, folks. Beautiful Gartley. That's pretty impressive that went from 50 to 75, 50% move, but I'll trace it out for you. Okay, there's the Gartley down for the reaction. And then this is a tricky one because not only did it come up for the type 2 and get to target 2 in a flash, well, actually, here's now. It's now at this point where you have check back confirmation. So this, you checked back a couple days ago, 2 bearish bars, bearish candles, basically right where you are, 75.44. We're trading 75.68 at the moment. That should be it. And you come back for the 2. Target 2 again, 51. It's not in the right position. Again, another one, bearish pattern off the low. No bullish structure here. No bullish, just bearish. That's a signpost. It's a signal. Treat that as a signal that this area right here is it for the return back down to target 2. Although I haven't looked at that in a while, and I'm impressed that it did rally that much. A couple of big rallies. Let me quick peek at total crypto market cap. The 1 and the 3. There's total 1. And we did have, look, like Ethereum. And it's got the price action of Ethereum, but it's got the signals of, as the price action of Bitcoin, but the interesting setup structure is like Ethereum with oversold indicator. It checks back, stabilizes 748, gives you two bullish candles. But this tight zone really is it. You know, you can't get above that 794 or 800 billion and you roll back down. Yeah, this is where the flush will happen. Nothing there yet. I mean, it's just not like the rest of them. They're not in a very good position, especially after the flush. Here's total 3 without Bitcoin and Ethereum. And again, this is an important day. It's a low level bearish continuation HSI signal. That's what that arrow is. And this morning, we checked back. We retested that. 330. So that's not the signal you want to see if you want crypto to turn around. If anything, it looks like crypto is going to start the march again, as this will be another continuation back down to at least retest these lows. Maybe another 10% lower. It's in a bad spot. You know, it really is. If you're looking for that to turn around, it's not there. Okay, let's get over to a couple situations. Obviously, markets trying to roll over now. Look like they're trying to come back here. I want to show one or two interesting things from this morning on a 5-minute chart. where we are immediately. Let's look at SPY. Okay. Let's start with this daily first. All right, because we talked about watching for trendline breakdown. Are we breaking down? Not yet. Trying to do a 3-bar reversal. So essentially, if we close below yesterday's low, that is going to be remarkably important for a larger breakdown. And that's today. We could come in here by Thursday, and if we get that close underneath today, and that's under yesterday's low at 395, you're right there right now. But that's the trigger. That will give you the 3-bar breakdown, the ideal continuation after the drop yesterday to really start to take this out and come back down. And that's the SPY. The 5-minute time frame. I want to just show you guys something here on the 5-minute from this morning and where we are now, because we're sitting off of some bullish patterns at the moment intraday. Let me show you the SPY here. Where'd it go? Here's SPY. Oh, wrong one. Let me bring it over. Okay. SPY for this morning, interestingly enough, is a very ugly bat pattern trying to bounce off of that. It's a type 2. Let me get that in line. All right. Ever since about 39.44, you're up 14. That's not bad. But look, likely is the next 5-minute HSI is going to trigger up here, probably a little bit higher, and then come back down. This is a flawed situation for the day, and we're looking at S&P today because of how critical it is on how the daily price action is going to shape up. Here is the futures chart, daily futures chart, and we know that S&P has a whole bunch of stuff behind it. But this kind of price action going in here for how many days now? We are sideways within this 10-day range, and you're rolling over. So break it down again. A close under the low, yesterday's low, is going to trigger that 3-bar reversal, and then you've got the breakdown, and then everyone's going to say, okay, this October-November snap is done. It's not in a great position in terms of, I wish would have got to 41.38. We would have had a lot more to trigger off of. But individual price action, that's what I'm watching. Everybody's watching that range. 39.30 area, and then 40.10 on the top side. Is that not a break hook and about to go? It could be. It could be. It could be that last attempt to take out the prior high. Well, the question is, could this be a little hook divergence? Meaning this very tight 8-10-day price action. Is that some kind of failed move? And then you go down. It didn't take out the prior high. So that's also something to note, where your prior high, 40.50, what was that? 40.49. And that does matter. That does matter. If we were able to pop above it and then roll over, that would have been a stronger, I feel, divergence failure. We'll see. It's there's still time here. Again, I'm looking at the larger scenario. Here's something that is also pretty interesting on the 60-minute. Come back here. Remember this Gartley? I think we showed this last week. That's still in a type 1 reaction on S&P. We got all the way down. We're target 2 today, 39.54, and we're trying to bounce. So you have a couple of time frames exhibiting a whole bunch of different harmonic relationships here. This Gartley structure, the fact that we're already down here to target 2, that's your immediate make or break support level. And again, as I keep coming back to saying, if we fail yesterday's low, close below yesterday's low, or get a washout where we get knocked out tomorrow or into Thursday, yeah, this could set it off. Typically, we would want to see the type 2 return from here. We're 39.54 on the S&P. Okay, that should be the floor by definition, by framework definition. Come down to reaction and then return back for the full retest. Going to be interesting how it shapes up. Again, if they can't flush them out in the next 24 hours, then that could hold for now, and we're just going to remain in this tight range for a little while longer. At least the pattern's substantial. And look, NASDAQ, similar situation on that 62-hour time frame with some bearish patterns. This was a crab that we didn't get to the type 2. It was so close. Here's type 1, all the way down to target 1 perfectly. But type 2 was 1169, and you didn't get there. Makes it kind of a sloppy structure, but I'll still use the levels. I'm thinking that this what we'd really want to see is an HSI between 11,552 and 11,200. So even off of this, it's kind of it's not your perfect situation, but we'll use these target levels. Use target 1, target 2. We were down there today trying to bounce. We're basically right there at 11,552. Is there anything here on the 5-minute on NASDAQ futures? Big ABCD. That would have to hold, though. This 11.5 test that just happened right before we started today's session has to hold. Has to hold. Now, before I go further into individual stocks, I do want to show the 2 ancillary markets that are influencing what's going on, which is, say, the 10-year yield, 2-year yield as well. But here's a 10-year, and we know we've got big patterns, big measurements that were tested. Take a look at the bat pattern, though. Your 10-year yield. That's a huge development for us, folks. For harmonic traders that understand why that's so significant. 10-year yield. The market has rallied since this thing topped out. And it topped out after checking back perfectly. You know, there was our signal back around the 26, and then it checked back and just collapsed into this bat pattern. The other thing about this is that the 10-year has that massive, look at the pattern dynamics that are going on here. 10-year yield has a big, it's ugly. It's not ideal. If it was ideal, this thing would have triggered, would have confirmed right at the 886, but there's no arrow. There's your arrow. We've discussed that in recent sessions. Don't want to get into it too much, but compare the weekly and the daily. We're back on a nominal reaction with a bullish pattern right at the weekly hop. Numbers, 366 is a floor. Kind of difficult because you're saying, oh, bearish pattern, that's a hop level. Wouldn't that be a place for resistance? Not when you're failing it in this regard. And then we've got the daily structure on something like a 10-year yield. Where'd you go? What happened to that pattern? Well, the pattern was here. I don't know what happened. I just lost it for some reason. I'll come back to it. But you have HSI. Even on the daily time frame, you've checked back. Today is your second bullish candle. So tighten everything up. meaning this should be the low, and then we should see a reaction in rates that takes us back to retest, oh, I don't know, closer to 4%, or the next bearish HSI. Rates are not in a good position for stocks. If you're looking for a year-end rally, rates are not there. And then VIX. So VIX has been interesting because we completed the pattern and we went straight on down. We had some confirmation here, but remember, we were waiting for that second bullish candle. That was yesterday. And we have another one today. So there's the pattern, there's the confirmation, then 1 and 2 bullish candles trying to break out of that downtrend. That is a major development. You also have a couple of back-to-back patterns. So you know this VIX level at around 22 to 20 is critical, huge, however you want to phrase it. That should get us back at a minimum to target 1 bounce in the VIX. Volatility should be spiking. You know what that means for markets. They'll see some headwinds. They'll see some pullback retracement here. But if that's what we're going to plan for going into next month, into the end of the year, or the other way that we always do it, folks, and it's a really simple measurement technique because it's easy to get into a pattern trade and say, all right, well, how long is this going to take? Well, just go from the completion and mark it 30 bars out. Create a 30 bar type 1 reaction window, and that should take you to the 27th. So December shaping up where volatility should be increasing, quite likely. Interest rates setting up where they're going to at least try to go back and retest some prior resistance. All of those things that happened, rising yields, rising VIX, was the exact climate of why you saw that decline into October. This was going up and the markets were going down. Those are critical formations that just started yesterday. A couple more. Someone, I think you meant gold. Gold is good. Gold is interesting, but I don't think for the reason why I know people are positive on gold. We did just have a bullish HSI. It's you had a couple things down here at around 1620. The bat pattern. You had this little ABCD. That's all right. Gold been kind of quiet until recent weeks, and we just triggered and checked back again yesterday a bullish HSI. So we could see gold maybe, and that's a little different from what you might expect if rates are going to rise and you've got some VIX issues. Well, maybe with a rising VIX, but I think 1840, 1841 is a likely target up here. Mainly because we just got the HSI plus a positive check back. Crude oil, we went through yesterday. It's an ugly chart. I mean, energy stocks, I think, as we said, triggered a whole bunch of larger patterns. Wasn't it a monthly? Yeah, it's this monthly. And I think there's still plenty of time. You don't have to jump in this because we are literally just checking back now. And this hop level, the monthly crab pattern, all of that coming together at around this 94.75 level is it. Absolutely. That's your absolute make or break, and you're checking back. You need a bearish candle this month, a bearish candle next month, and then you go into a type 1, full type 1 reaction with confirmation. There's the confirmation level. So we're still early in that development, but if we pivot from here and we start to roll over, that should be the high, 94.75. Target 1, 64. And this is a little disjointed from, say, like USO. But look at USO. Look at that USO chart. Monthly USO chart. Beautiful deep crab. Beautiful. And look at the confirmation. Everything you want to see. That's ideal, folks. Am I still with you guys? Yeah, I'm still with you guys. Okay. And we see this for USO. Look, there is a bearish HSI. If I'm just looking at the target, 86.74, that should be it. But coming off of this 86.74, we want to focus on a single bar continuation. So we break under 67, close under 67 this week. There's not much here. And the way that USO and a lot of these are shaping up, why wouldn't they have to come back for a type 2? That might take a year, but that's a very good possibility because this reaction on the monthly is over. I'm not a fan. It's a lot of people are saying energy stocks, but they're flashing bearish patterns. We've got bearish patterns with confirmation. And now USO does something like that. Yeah, 31.68 is not, that really could happen if crude continues to do a week over week slide. Here's something interesting as well. I've been saying that with all HSI, the arrow generates right there. And the area that we look at is the retest of the bar. And then wait for 2 candles that agree. But this has been helpful. When something's really strong like that, okay, there's your signal. We don't even start thinking about the bearish signal until it retests and checks and then gives us 2 more bearish candles. Well, look at this. Straight on through, straight on through. Oh, look, 1 and 2 on the monthly. We're there with XLE. It's a very similar situation to XLE where we have 1. Now we want 2 in a breakdown. And that then sets it off for the return phase. That's been helpful for me. I hope that's helpful for other people where the check back or the price action strong at the area. Just wait for two bearish candles after. Nat gas, folks. Remember what we said about nat gas, and this is going to probably be the last time I talk about it for a little while because we're up against a few things on on UNG and the futures. And so this is what happened today. Yesterday, we had the check back of the scenario of the target 1 at 738. I mean, it's about as perfect as you can have. Where this not only reaches target 1 of the shark, and I mentioned this yesterday, and that's a 5-0 now, because the shark typically becomes a 5-0 pattern. This should be it. 738, 740. And then you start the return phase back to 586. So for that, I said, be careful on Boyle. Be careful on UNG. What's the rule for setting up T1 and T2? Do you mean type 1 reaction, type 2 reversal, or do you mean the targets? Because the targets depends on the pattern, because you see the shark target 1 is a little different. Normally it's 382 and 618. But because the shark's a different creature, it's 50 and 886. Check that out. But this could be entering a type 2 return phase almost perfectly off target 1. And I mean now. You're coiling up here. Okay, a 3-day reversal violation, essentially under 680, shoots the gap back down for the full retest. Crude oil is not looking good either. So crude oil is absolutely in a spot as well where you're going to have to go back and retest. Yeah, the two targets. Listen, the two targets, they're laid out in volume 3. In fact, I think the first time I laid those out was volume 1. So, and get the book. Go to, again, harmonictrader.com and just basic members page. The best place to look for that information, again, is go to your volume 3, please. Oh, sorry. Here, this book right there. That will show you what to be looking for, type 1, type 2, and you're going to see some rather old charts that are like already 7-10 years old. It's where'd it go? Where is it? I just had it. Here it is. This is the model, folks. That's a real nice type 1, 382 to 618. That is the expected objective for any harmonic pattern, the first move. So if you're not aware of that, these are important parts of the framework that help to really tie it together. Then you're not sitting on your hands when you do hit a target, but it doesn't continue. This is a perfect example of it. Nat gas, beautiful shark pattern, stabilized. Again, even waiting for 1 or 2 bullish candles in the zone is helpful to get that going. But the segment is from terminal bar reversal to target 1, and that's it, and you're done. UNG did not reach its target though. Let's look, Claire. How you doing, Claire? And that's a good point. But look, UNG, we talked about this yesterday, had an HSI signal that just ran into our face. And so you probably just bump your stop under yesterday's low, 21 and change. I think there's a chance with UNG and Boyle where with this lack of follow through to target 1, and now you generate a bearish HSI. That tells us to look for it to come back down. You're right, we could not even get to target 1. So, and then you generate a bearish HSI that checked back today, but folks, 2248. Nice. Yeah, I mean, listen, that's what we're trying to manage. We're trying to manage it, the reactions with confirmation up to target 1, target 2. And then we go from there. And if we get a counter HSI signal, you don't have to get out immediately, but you can go to a 1 bar stop loss and tighten up stops. Absolutely tighten up stops. That's a big part of it. 1 minute. Hold on 1 second. All right, I'm back. Let's get to it. Thanks. I had to get a sip of water. Folks, that would also explain, if we can get energy to come off, that would explain, and I meant to bring this up, the diamonds and what this whole deal means with the Dow Diamonds Industrials. Okay, we know that it's been a type 2, around 290 or so, or 300. A lot of stuff going on here. The Dow Diamonds, the Dow Industrials actually have been leading the way of all the indices, and that's really for the first time all year. So Dow is outperforming, but doesn't that look reactive? It's quite reactive. Even from 290 even to 320, that's just reactive. We're going to watch the breakdown. 3-bar breakdown yesterday. Take a look. You almost got a 3-bar breakdown. Look, 1, 2, 3. What's that low? 338. 338, 338.39. Yesterday's low, 337.95. The close, 338.49. So you did not close under that low. But now today, you close under anything under yesterday's low. That will set it off. And that is the first 3-bar bearish reversal since the bottom. Keep that in mind. I want to watch and see. We're going to know really quick. And we could be in here Thursday where if you break down and you break that trend line, there is nothing here. Nothing down there. So it's shaping up, but it's not there yet. Again, we're going to watch it. Because once it does trigger, it's going to have plenty of time to do its move. And you're seeing that in things like, this is a new 3 ideas, folks, but I'll share it with the crowd. I just posted the 3 ideas. Here's Caterpillar. Weekly time frame. Looks super strong, right? Beautiful, beautiful chart. Looks like it's going to just explode through here. Up in this 235, 240 level, you got a lot of things going on. And if it's going to be a failed run to new highs, we're going to get it. This looks like this. You know, Caterpillar trying to come out of the zone today. We could literally trigger by the close if Caterpillar rolls over. That's a big one. That's definitely an interesting situation. Some of the others that we've talked about, you know, Disney had a perfect type 2, but that has to come back down. Disney on the daily looks like this, and it is a type 2. Okay, there's HSI. That is now today. You got to watch under 94.65. That will trigger a check back, and maybe you come all the way back down and retest these lows again on Disney, which is a good perspective for the bigger stocks. If Disney's going to do that, what are some of the other ones going to do? And I mentioned, even with some of those techs, Google, for example, all right, that's ever since that had its bearish HSI signal within the zone, we're rolling back down where I would say you got to hit 93.33 minimum, or if not, look for HSI to come all the way back down into the zone and get oversold again. Logical place for something like Google is come back and fill the gap as low as 89. There's no longs here. There's no longs. It's tough because that's a beautiful pattern, but because we have this HSI fighting the zone, think of it that way, it's going to take more time. You come back into the zone. Here's another interesting one, Goldman Sachs. I haven't mentioned that in a while, but check this out. Beautiful Gartley on Goldman. All right, right around 377. And so look at it this way. Goldman tried to make a run back to its all-time new high. Of course they'd run their own stock, but it's failing. And it's a massive bearish Gartley, 377. So I'm looking at Goldman for this to at least do a target 1 back to 346. You're entering a lot. If your strongest stocks are either forming bearish patterns with confirmation, or your weaker stocks are rolling over to go back and retest bullish patterns. A lot of these are not in your ideal zone. You're not in an ideal position to do a rally. And let me just blow this up. Looks like that. So you got a Gartley, Goldman retesting that. Here's the weekly time frame. It's even on a weekly. And Goldman's had, look, beautiful back-to-back patterns for Goldman Sachs. But we have to respect what this is telling us. And folks, go to school on a chart like this. All right, because we hit the terminal bar in strong fashion, form the terminal bar, but we cannot continue. And we go, all right, you could sit into Goldman, and let's say you knew something about Goldman, that it was a bearish opportunity. It's not a bearish opportunity until one single bearish candle. Look, we rallied off the shark hop straight up to target one. Now there's our HSI signal, but this 1, 2, 3, 4 week run, impressive. All right, so wait for one candle. You could have jumped in if you wanted to right at the 786 if you were feeling frisky. But why would you? That's trying to really jump in front of the train. Wait for a bearish candle. Wait for two bearish candles. Wait for confirmation. Some you're going to miss, but guaranteed these techniques keep you out of extreme danger. And so with that confirmation and the prior shark back-to-back pattern dynamics here, Goldman Sachs, that's a big one. Not in a position where it's bullish. Target one, 346. Now 382. Couple more. Yeah, Claire, I can look at Blink. Blink is, that's the recharger, right? Isn't that, there's that Blink, and then there's that charge point. Okay, let's just talk HSI. All right, let's talk HSI for Blink. I remember trading this a year ago when it got crazy. Now, are we going to bottom fish? Yeah, amazing, because that went from, in 2020, from like $1, what was it? It was 60. Anybody else miss those days? But for Blink, if you're looking for an opportunity weekly, there's the check back. There's your early stage of saying, hey, harmonically, this is getting oversold, but we need to see one more bullish candle. That's what I would wait on, where you're like this. 5 weeks ago, HSI triggers. Okay, 2 weeks later, is it a week? It's 2 weeks later. Yeah, 2 weeks later. So we check back. Now I need to see from literally from this point forward. We don't have any patterns, but if I was looking for a bounce or something here, from this point forward, I need two more small bullish candles to set that off. Much in the same way that we did back here in June, where you came down, you checked back, nice bullish candle, and then 1 and 2 before that really blasted off. Yes, that's 18 here, but you're 13 on the check back. But again, I would rather wait for that check back and then 2 candles, or even the breakout. You know, check back and then break above like a 1 bar, 3 bar. This is early for Blink. Is there a daily pattern there though, Claire? I thought there was something. Yeah. Thank you. So here we go. I knew there was a pattern in that one. Beautiful, beautiful butterfly. Okay. Going sideways. Harmonic dud. Butterfly says 1305. But have we had a check back? Have we had anything? Here's the first test on Blink. HSI pattern completes there. Confirmation completes there. But that's not where we look. We utilize that bar as our trigger range. So the low, 1361. Structurally, 1452. That's your maximum level. It basically paints a zone between 1450 and 1350 as some kind of reaction, but no move. You check back, 1, 2 green candles. Okay, that's the start of something, but you went nowhere. You could not get into the zone. And as I said, when I started this with crypto, how much time do you give these patterns? Because tell me what happens within that 30 bar window. Sideways, harmonic dud. Are there any other confirmation possibilities? Maybe back at 1245 here. I'll look at that, but I think it's more about like this weekly having to stabilize, and when you're in a downtrend like this, better to wait for that kind of confirmation. Dave is asking to showcase some of the indicators, the other indicators with the program. Well, the primary indicators are this, folks. All the patterns. This indicator is harmonic strength index. That's our primary triggering mechanism for patterns. And you can use that as well. HSI, you can use HSI. Intraday HSI on a 5-minute is about as good as you can go. So, and I'll circle back to that in a second. But HSI and then the bottom indicators amplified RSI. Those are essentially the relative strength style indicators that I feel are more accurate and more clearly show those points of extreme overbought, oversold condition. I did show the scanner. I could spend a lot of time on it. We've got a ton of videos, so please look at those videos on the channel. And then whenever you sign up or subscribe, we send you 2 different batches of videos. We send you a batch of video that are free as a trial, and then we send you a course and other videos when you subscribe. Look at those videos because they go through all of them one by one. Scotty, what's up? He wants to look at AMD. You got it. AMD, another one. Okay, big bat pattern on the weekly. I know this is a daily. This daily is probably more interesting on AMD. All right, couple patterns. That's an alt bat versus the weekly bat. Almost got to a perfect type 1. Almost. Not quite. You'd have to wait for the next. Look what HSI is doing. What's the last signal? Any time frame you come into a chart, what's the last arrow? Is it red or green? And sometimes that oversimplifies it, but we're still red here. That's the last signal. And look at your HSI indicator. It's clearly trending down. All right, let's get that to trigger one more time. AMD is trading 73.65. The big number is $60. And this pausing action, like a lot of those semis I talked about, we're going to get another retest. Do we get an ideal trigger on that retest? That's what I want to see. And the weekly for AMD is in a more challenging situation. This is, again, why we look at HSI. It has that ability, even if price doesn't move much, it defines the extreme. You go from oversold to overbought. Price didn't move much. But if that triggers and comes out, you bet you're going to get an arrow, and that's going to force you back down into the zone, which a lot of these seem like they want to do. I mentioned Disney earlier. They look like they're doing that. Here's the other one, my man. Amazon on the daily. Breaking lower. Last signal was HSI in a bearish HSI at the bullish hop. That's not what you want to see. And so this whole structure with Amazon, and I would watch it, Amazon. I would watch Meta. Watch those former fangs. That's an ugly spot to be in. If you're looking for Amazon to turn around and you just triggered a bearish HSI in a bullish zone, you've got problems. You're going to need a lot more time. It's, if anything, you come back, retest the lows, or even fill the gap at 89. Gotta realize that the beauty of HSI, folks, it's a relatively new discovery. I launched that about 6-7 years ago. I was really looking for something that could give me the bias of overbought, oversold. HSI moves from one extreme to the next. That's how you should look at that. You might get some squiggly in between, but in general, you treat your preference of what that's doing from one extreme to the next. And you don't, sometimes the price moves a great deal, other times it doesn't. It lets a lot of air out. Like this bounce in Amazon after the last bullish HSI down at 87, you go to 87 up to 102. But that's it. And now we have a bearish candle pointing us back down. All right. We just ride it. That just takes a little bit of time. I really think that important that people just get the feel of HSI. And I talked a little bit last week about VWAP and HSI, like on a 5-minute, how beautiful that is. And maybe Thursday that could be good for the discussion. But here's a 5-minute on Amazon. Even Amazon on the 5-minute, beautiful deep crab. But look, you just generated 2 bearish HSIs. That's headed back down. And I talked a little bit. Here's that VWAP. Okay, VWAP with HSI is looking really nice. Yeah, a lot of people will try to capture any VWAP that if it's going down, pokes above it. But VWAP with HSI is something to take a look at. I'll do more of that. Believe me, I'm really following it. But for our purposes, we don't need VWAP. We can see the zone. The pattern will automatically be generated, and that's a big 1618. But this is just a dud reaction, and we know when that pops, look for the XA retest 91.98. That could be there, literally in the next 30 minutes to an hour. Drop another 50 cents. You're trading options there. That's a good one. Some of you guys have comments on what if the daily HSI is red and down and 4-hour is green. Depends if you've checked back, because that check back is critical. It forms the basis of your confirmation. All right, but it also goes to the fact that we have to be patient, because all of these patterns will give you several bars of time to make the decision. Yeah, we're rolling back down right now. Rolling back down over here. Now 91.89. I would be looking at that if I was day trading this or looking for some daily options. I'd say 92.40 area. That's failing. Come back. There's a point down to 91.49. And it's dropping right in there. I mean, take a look. And that's how you should treat it. We've seen this on the daily on a lot of different situations where HSI is pointing us down at a very low level. Okay, but that only means you got to go lower. You got to retest the pattern or whatever's shaping up there. So let's look at that. Let's look at 5-minute stuff on Thursday. I do need to run. I got a meeting. So thanks everybody. Great session. Thursday, we're going to give away a couple books. Also, just everybody waiting on a book. I mentioned this 2 weeks ago. We were back ordered on the volume 3s. They all go out this week. So by next weekend, anybody that didn't get your book, you should get it. But we'll give away a few on Thursday, and I'll give away another gold membership or 2. So come on back, subscribe, hit the like, and thanks to everybody in the chat for showing up. Great to see everybody. Till Thursday, have a great one. Go get 'em.